fun and games.
Let's go. We're going to be having a very Eastern-focused playing path. But you know what? It's a 4x4 map, so the playing path really doesn't have that much of an impact onto this one. Box Gaming, Valdez Esports, BTR, and also a few other squads going to be jumping out pretty early on the first 50% part of this playing path. And yeah, we'll see how things are going to be coming out on this fourth game of the day.
Again, what I love about these fully competitive, as in the best of the best teams, they're not afraid to utilize the whole Sanhok map. So we see Box Gaming. Now, normally I wouldn't advise on spreading yourself as a team on those drop spots, but because it's the northeast around Mong Nai, there's a lot more safety around that. So really great job by them. But the phase one circle shits up north. You do have the mainland, you do have the Northwest Island in play, and a tiny tip of the Southwest Island.
You know what? They talked about Painan earlier. Well, seemed like we're going to have some early action happening over there. And also on Paradise Resort. Megastars and Valdez Esports going to be clashing in the early stage. Got a Panda over here in, got to try and save them a little bit. Trying to keep them in game as long as possible, because Pandas are rare now.
Take me down to a Paradise City where the grass is green and the teams are pretty. And the teams in this case are Valdez Esports and Megastars. Of course, in this game, we don't have Udo Gank, Morph, No Chance, and T1, and we have brought back Celts, Orange Rock, and Nova.
Gonna have here RQ Athena pushing up. They are very, very close together, which you can't really say, unfortunately, for Synergy. They are going to be having a little bit of trouble to hold up to this one. But, you know what? They have the building in their advantage. So that means that they can try and flush it through the doors, through the staircases when they try and go for that respective push. As D2E, here it is. No, actually, Teddy's going to get pushed up. He's got to try and stay and hold that position on the balcony with the Uzi. Was able to get one knockdown on the member of RQ Athena. And now, because he got those hit markers, will he push this one out? I can see here it is, a Thompson coming out, and Teddy will get shut down. A great grenade also coming out from G9, and there you have it. That's going to be Zigsaw shut down, and now RQ Athena with still 3 players up. They're going to try and shut down the last remaining member.
Awesome, Bot X Survey, where are you guys? You were able to get one knockdown onto a member of RRQ, but if you've allowed, realistically, RRQ to take control of that Painan team fight. Ted was doing such a good job of staving off that double throw of pressure from RRQ a few seconds ago. That should have been the clutch play for the rest of the team to follow suit, but instead they missed the mark.
5 Paradise is also breaking out. Hey, look at that, perfect timing. We're going to be moving over there right away. Valdez Esports getting absolutely roasted to a crisp. They're trying to fight back to get one knockdown, but unfortunately, Arm Joan was the last remaining member. And Valdez Esports, they get swiftly taken out in 15th position. You know what? It's Sanhok. It's bound to happen eventually.
Doesn't matter if they fell into a burning ring of fire. Megastars come out on that fight on top. It is a central part of the Phase 1 circle. They've conquered Paradise Resort. Nice to see this Megastars team shine through finally in day 1 of the PMWL East.
Looking for Survey, looking for Austin Bot. But Austin actually left, going down south of Painan, not quite willing to get involved here. Maybe trying to allow Austin to get another position, another point of pressure to try and stop RQ Athena from going for any extra push. Interesting strategy that I was not really expecting. You would expect them to try and keep those 2 players together to try and make the most out of those 2 players. But here it is, RQ's got the nice rooftop play. Unfortunately, doesn't turn that into anything. He's going to drop straight down and he's going to try and run away.
Especially if you had Survey in the building beside it, would have been a bone of contention on a potential double angle coming through. But Survey gets knocked by Ernie. Now it's just going to be left to Austin Bodex to try and hold on for dear life. Now Synergy, they had a solid game too, but that was off the back of what was some fantastic rotations leading up to that point, but this is a whole different scenario in Sanhok.
Yeah, they did really good in the late game. The early game, they just stayed really passive, so that's something that onto this PMWL East tournament. They haven't had a lot of experience into that one. And Austin's just like, okay, at least you know what? That reposition they had earlier is going to actually help them out because they lost one member. He sees Austin over there in the distance. They know exactly where he is. They're going to push that. They are not going to let Synergy make it out alive. They're potentially going to get eliminated in 14th position, but will the 1v3 clutch happen? We'll have to wait and see.
Like a bird looking for their prey. They sniffed out their victim. Now they're ready to close out the fight. Now Austin Bodex has a little bit of a nice position on the edge of the stairs, using that third-person perspective, but at the end of the day, I can't help but feel that this is a matter of when rather than if for Austin X to survive.
Yeah, he's still got a few minutes, but we won't have time to use it. Oh, man, here, Jesus Christ. Hello, knock, how's it going? 3 players coming around, and that's the end. Synergy. I mean, RQ Athena, 4 kills.
That was the definition of hello, darkness, my old friend. Just going right in front of 3 RRQ players.
Just like, you know, doing the conga into the building, like, eh, and just shutting down the last member. Good stuff.
Now, what I found interesting with regards to Orange Rock when it came to the free fire questions, when they asked who did they think was going to win PMWL East, they were the only team, and that was the only player to basically say, we don't know, may the best team win. Which on one hand kind of makes me think, do they actually have the confidence? Because every other team said it's going to be them, it's going to be respectively them, you know, or at least kind of, you know, it was any of the Indian teams. Whereas Orange Rock were a little bit maybe, are they as confident?
I mean, I think there's also a little bit of being humble, you know, like humble is very important. You know, I'm way more humble than you,
Very
for example,
true.
Imperium, which is like a little bit of a paradox right there.
How dare you? But you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
I know.
For once.
There you go, Transcend, no, it's not the case.
Okay, so as the Blue Zone is closing, we have seen teams shifting their way up forward. We have Team Seeker down on the southern edge. They're going basically by Quarry. Most of the teams are generally towards the center of the circle. It is a strong position by Orange Rock that they hold on to, even though they are spread out. You have 3 players on that compound, basically on top of the hill, overlooking the likes of Reject. So that could really create a lot of space coming into the next circle for Orange Rock.
Definitely the case. Megastars, they like their little rotations, just being like, you know, small rotation one after another. You do take a few risks, lost, potentially losing a few players along the way, which did happen. They lost one of their own players very early on, and they're going to be picking a fight versus Scarlet. Reject Scarlet coming around here. Hopefully the fight will not go any further. Megastars, they do definitely show an intention of wanting to go back over to the compound of Vexy because they just got caught out in the open, and you would never want to do that, especially when a potential third party could come around the corner.
See, I was literally just gonna say I think Encore could be okay, but that confirmation comes in from Reject. First kill of this Sandhawk game. We're down to 13 teams, 49 players as we head into the 7.5 minute mark. Webb with another knockdown on the Paradox. That play by Reject off the back of what is basically a 2-2, getting that information, putting that pressure onto Megastars. I love to see it.
Love to see indeed, but yeah, definitely so far, Megastars, they went right back. I mean, the player that remains made over to the compound, so that's completely okay. But also Central Circle, gonna have a few squads trying to fight for that position so far, so interested to see. But Paradox unfortunately bleeds to his death, leaving him only in the hands of Vexy.
One of the most important things about Sandhawk when it comes to engagements, in my eyes, is you've got to be really cohesive and concise with your engagements. You can't dance around that fight too long, because as the circle closes in, the shots are going to be heard by multiple teams around. Next thing you know, like a fly to lights, you're gonna see that third party come through. So I do like the fact that RQ were being aggressive enough, but they are now shifting their way into getting information as the Blue Zone's closing in on phase 1.
You want those fights to be like
Pretty much, yes.
very snappy, you know. Even if the fight does not go in your favor, if you know that this didn't work out, just leave. It's really not worth it, because the third party can come around the corner at literally any time of the game. You like to call this area the black hole of Sandhawk is good high ground position, and I think we saw like many chicken dinners being won in this current position. BTR's got that under control. Will that allow them to take the win? And
if the circle does shift to the west, they can actually go into the compound to the west of the black hole, which is a great area to hold on to. Of course, where we will see where shines its way through. It goes to the east. There is still Kyle Harris's favorite place of Sandhawk in play. That's Ban. Gotta love to see it. But at the end of the day, with it shifting to the east, the mainland is primarily in play, which is a little bit of a sigh of relief.
Galaxy Racer, Celts, and also King of Gamers Club. Currently, you know, very delayed. There was like a little bit of a standoff down towards docks, and now they're sort of going to try and shift their way back up. Kampong is going to be the main location that this team of GX are going to try and rotate to. But now, Team IND, they went for my speculation of potentially having a mountaintop finish, but you know what? That unfortunately will not go their way. But back over to BTRs, they're still keeping the pressure down. Only 1 kill, a little bit of a slower game compared to what we've seen so far for BTR.
And now they look to try and shift away, getting that kill onto the member. Reject will push Reject back a little bit, make them kind of a tiny bit mentally passive and force them into a bit of their own self-isolating corner and give more space for BTR to shift around. They have plenty of space. They can make their way to the edge of Tap Mock. They could even go to Paradise Resort because Paradise Resort is in the golden center part of Phase 2.
As we pan over to Team Secret, a team that we got to try and focus on a little bit, right? They have not had the best start today.
No.
We do have to say that. But the team was one of the biggest potentials going into this. Like, we keep hyping them up like Team Secret. They're this team, you want to keep an eye out for them. Have a little bit of a weak start, but that happens, you know, and that's fine. So hopefully this Sandhawk game will be the one to try and be their redeeming factor, their redeeming game to try and climb back up a little bit higher in the overall standings.
2-game play for Team Secret. They've only got a total of 2 kills over those 2 games, a 15th and a 16th respectively. Now is going to be their time to really push back up and send that message. And the reason why I'm kind of repeating sending a message, because I genuinely think that's a huge part of these. Basically, these seeding games, it is about sending that message. It is about making your mark in the PMWL East and kind of, you know, knowing that when you show up on the kill feed, teams will fear you even more.
Yeah. Or just also they'll see that you got less players and they'll be overconfident.
Yeah.
You know, can have a little bit of a different position right here. But yeah, Team Secret still holding to their compound, not giving it over. They do have like a really good compound under control, do you have to say, down south. But unfortunately, not in circle. They're going to have to move, and they're actually getting gatekeeped by RRQ Athena right now. So some fight could be happening down south really soon.
I'm also curious about Team IND. They stuck on the northwestern island on the high ground. It's going to be a matter of how they're going to make their way into the mainland. If they go to down the southwest, they're going to get closer towards RQ and Team Secret. But right now, they do have the space of boot camp that they can shine their way up.
Also on a orange rock here, they got Marvi that's going to be holding on to the bridge alone, but you see that by the fact of his position, he's not willing to take a fight. He's just there to purely just give information. If a team comes over, might go for a few sprays, be careful, guys. We're holding the bridge here. You do not want to cross over here. So Team IND going to have to think about how they want to pull this one off.
Now, the team that benefited most from that Phase 1 circle into Phase 2 was definitely King of Gamers Club. Remember, they split loot drop around Mong Nai and Camp Bravo. They were on their own. They were unoccupied, untouched, and now there's so much space on that southeastern part of Phase 2 that even if it shifts up northwest, they will have plenty of space to make their way up. So really nice position from King of Gamers.
Now, this is where things are about to get a little bit more spicy. The next circle, hey, you talked about Box Gaming, but there you go. Straight on top of them, Box Gaming, they have a good position. Now, I would say go for a little bit of a 2-2 split. Take 2 compounds under control. If a team tries to breach it, just reposition in that specific compound. But I think it would be good to also have a little bit of scope and information on teams around you.
True, but where Box Gamer are currently located is a little bit tricky because there's a lot of area to kind of play around, you know, where they could get caught off. But that seems like that is exactly what they are going for. Nice call out from yourself. But now you level up onto TSM Entity. Knockdown coming through as RRQ and Team Secret will start to engage on each other outside the circle, no less.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that was going to happen eventually, but I like it. Team Secret, like, okay, we saw them. We're just going to, well, if you've got a big obstacle in front of you, you don't have to go through it. You can just go around it. That's a nice way to make it out to the next circle. But iShot's doing exactly what his name says, taking shots, and going to try and take a few nice engagements. But you know what? They're just going to move back. They know they're trying to go around, so like, this is not worth it. We're going to have to reposition. We'll lose time out of the circle. It's not worth it.
Talking about out of the circle, I'm also curious about Galaxy Racer Cells. They are outside the circle. They're actually half the team is inside the blue zone. And if they do decide to kind of go more linear into the circle, they could go against King of Gamers. But because they can make their way up on the east, that rotation could definitely prove to be very valuable for them.
RRQ Athena, they know now. They got their cars, so I think that here, no, cars aren't really all that great to use, and Sandhawk brings a lot of attention to you, and you're not really wanting attention in a map where third parties are extremely, extremely dominant. But I think there would be a valid option just to go for a very short but swift rotation. I was going to be having Megastars, popping up in a feed, but not really the way they would expect to, as they get eliminated in 13th position here.
You level up. They are outside the circle. You have Team IND and TSM Entity very close to them. But this fight between TSM and Team IND could get very, very aggressive in the next minute or so as BTR, they're going to be pushed upon by Box Gaming.
Yeah, Box Gaming, they got the high ground. You know what they say, high ground's going to give you the advantage right away. Box Gaming, they are a little bit split. No, we talked about it earlier, and I thought they should try and do that, go for a little bit of a 2-2 split. Even now, it's a 2-1-1 split, keeping a lot of control here. But rotating back to yourself is not like Vikendi, where you can easily rotate with cars. Cars are not great to use here, so we'll make things a little bit of a slow response for Box Gaming to fight versus BTR. But Bigatron trying to potentially get a bit of utility. You saw those nades, but they just like, nah, the distance way too big. We're not going to commit to that.
Down to 12 teams, 45 players. The first 3 teams we have lost in this game is Valdez, Murder, Synergy, and Megastars. They are the teams that have respectively been eliminated so far in this Sanhok game as we are about to hit phase 4. All of the teams, bar Team IND, are pretty much inside the circle, but the majority of them are close to the edge, and that's really interesting. Nobody is occupying Paradise Resort, which I don't mind, but I'm also a little bit surprised.
I'm going to explain you why. Main reason, Jesus Christ, well, you talk about Paradise Resort Circle, well, we just got it right there. But the reason why they're on the edge, right, is because Paradise Resort a little bit high ground, and you've got a lot of peaking spots from Paradise Resort itself. So like, okay, we're just going to play on the edge, and if we have to focus down and commit to Paradise Resort, we'll do it when we're actually forced to do so.
But now as the circle shifts on towards Paradise Resort to the west, a lot of teams outside the circle are going to be clashing together as they make their way in. Box Gaming being one of them, still up as a full squad looking to push down the current leaders of the PMWL East Day 1. That is the one and only BTR.
Yeah, Orange Rock going to be pretty close to Bigatron, so they got to keep that in mind because Box Gaming could also deny them during that rotation just to make sure they're not going to get put under pressure. Luxy pops off a few smokes with the rest of his allies. They'll make it through, and they will slowly make their way towards Orange Rocks as they're going to be going straight for the compound of Reject Scarlet. They still got Sard, they still got Web, and I believe those are the 2 players remaining. Yes, it is. And here it is again for the breach. Utility, grenade, smokes, mollies. I don't know what they just threw, but they damn sure threw some sting over. And that was a grenade. Web going to try and respond with his own utility. Unfortunately, Reject Scarlet definitely having the short end of the straw, and they'll get absolutely battered by Orange Rock as they take them out in. That's going to be.
I know Orange Rock were impressive in the PMPL, and I was worried about the addition of Scout, but I've got to say they're definitely looking very strong. But TSM Entity once again coming under fire as Team IND. They've yet to get a kill so far in this game. You still have Jonathan, but he's facing damage from the blue zone. We know he is the man, the myth from his side. Let's see if he can make something work. But no, he can't. 420 OP finds him. That's the end of TSM Entity once again, going out early in these games.
Well, I don't think that I've ever seen, like, you know, TSM Entity being very consistent on a map such as Sanhok. The other map's absolutely awesome. Sanhok, there's a little bit up and down overall, so definitely not too much of an issue there. We'll see them come back eventually.
Of course.
Now, it's going to be GXR Celts slowly making their way down. And it's interesting because they're actually down south of the circle. They rotated all on the eastern side to make it up north to avoid detection, but now they're going to be one of the best team of the lobby. Very unlucky for them.
But they've still done a great job of rotating now because Orange Rock took down Reject. That created a tiny bit more space for BTR. BTR disengaged away from Box Gaming. Box Gaming has now sent 2 of their members up to the full squad into Paradise Resort. This is great from Galaxy Racers. They are being aware of it, although I don't think that's a good idea. You're only making so much noise, and that vehicle isn't going very fast, my friend.
Yeah, just give that one up. You're not going to use it. Could be a good defensive position to use, but it's going to be interesting. But now we're going to be going over to Team Secret, currently getting gatekeeped by King of Gamers Club. Team Secret, they have to redeem themselves, okay? They're not the best of starts here. They need to get a good, impactful Sanhok game. But now going to be going back up north, going up north, down south. No, trying to keep an information on every single fight happening right now in Imperium.
Ice shots going down to the blue zone. South Rocks knocking down Ryzen, sending a message of rotation. Ourselves, they still have a full squad moving their way through on the northern tip of this circle as they want to push in onto BTR and make them pay the price.
Straight up north of Paradise Resort, that's the position the Celts are currently going to be aiming for, and they will get that under control. But now, Bigatron getting pressured down by the teams over there, and that's why they were all hesitant to really push into Paradise Resort. Around Paradise Resort, it's such a weird area to fight around. You're never sure which team will come out on top.
We've now lost Team Streaker. King of Gamers took them out, but now King of Gamers have got to make their own way into a circle because it did shift into Paradise Resort. It is Paradise City. The grass is going to be green and the blood is going to be pretty as the bodies are bound to hit the floor as the teams make their way in. Viru onto Slayer, onto Snacks. We see it in the kill feed. Let's see if they get even more work done as they confirm the kills.
South still just slowly making it behind the area of Paradise Resort, trying to avoid detection. They're able to do so, just like King of Gamers Club. But now Orange Rock, they're the team that currently, they are going to struggle a little bit to make it through because they've got to go downhill, down that little bit of a cliff. And that's going to be them just potentially falling straight into the open arms of Bigatron very soon. But actually, we're going to be shifting over to the western side of Paradise Resort, where it's a little bit more open-ended.
It is a little bit more open area, but there's a lot of rocks to play around as Galaxy Racer Cells. Tanky is knocked down, but MZ and Ultron trying to hold on. Box Gaming is boxing them into a corner, but King of Gamers, we see in the kill feed, is third-partying them.
Third parties, especially what's going to be happening over here, but here it is. GXR Cells, they are pushing on Box Gaming. Team IND eliminated after still a great game last time around on Miramar. They got 4th position, but now things are going to get more and more sweaty as we go by. 8 teams still remaining in this Sandhawk lobby. The fight is going to be happening. Not many teams actually in Paradise Resort itself, which, you know, we talked about it already earlier. The edge is just so weird to play around. It was really expected.
Exactly. But now, as it's on towards the west, let's see what the teams on the east, most notably King of Gamers, Galaxy Racer Cells, and Box Gaming. Also down in the south, we have lost U Level Up, so RRQ are being very, very victorious on their push into the circles.
And yeah, RRQ Athena so far, they got 8 kills, and it's still going up every single second. So we'll have to wait and see if they can try and potentially get their very first chicken dinner of the day. So now, here it is, Celts, they made their way already in. They shifted actually from the north of Paradise Resort over to the eastern side, and that's where most teams are going to try and actually avoid that location because they want to try and get themselves in center circle in Paradise, but nice few shots coming out, and that's going to be also a great grenade from RRQ Athena onto Nova Godlike, trying to shut them down completely. But here it is, RRQ Athena doing such a good impact, but Celts, they're going for the re-engage from behind, they're going for the third party of the century.
MJ just comes in, looks to shut them down as the members of RQ push it through. It just becomes too much, and Ernie shuts them down. That's the end of South, but what an incredible run through for them as we're down to the last 6 teams. 14 players up. Phase 7 shifts to the west once again.
Gotta give a lot of props to Celts for them rotations. Very tricky, very hard to pull off, and very long to pull off, but it definitely did work out as King of Gamers Club unfortunately will bite the dust also. 6th position, 5 teams still remaining as Orange Rock. Now, they got one of the most predominant locations. They got the high ground for themselves. They're going to leave all the teams fight. They just don't have to, they can just chill right now and wait for the teams to rotate in circle and just pick them up one by one.
You talked about RQ. They're on 11 kills, double digits from a kill point of view, as they want to add a lot more to their count as a game is pushing through Orange Rock. They're on 7 kills. They're looking strong. They're getting the revives, but can Box Gaming break the spirit of Orange Rock?
I mean, Orange Rock right now, they just don't have to get involved. They're going to be seeing the last member there of Bigatron. There you go. 5th position still. Extremely consistent performances from this team, Bigatron Red Aliens. But now, 4 teams still in play. We'll have Nova Godlike, we'll have Box Gaming, Orange Rock, and also RRQ Athena. And now RRQ actually, they're going to have to move a little bit forward, but we talked about it. It's the open-ended area of Paradise Resort. Rotating is going to be extremely harsh.
And the high ground held onto by Orange Rock, that could give them an advantage, but there's a lot of little, like, statues and rocks that the teams on the low ground can play around, so it's definitely not an easy task for Orange Rock, but Bear was knocked down. He's going to get confirmed with the burning Molotov as Ernie is going to be prone down by the side of the wall. Gil throwing out his smoke. They want to take control of this Phase 8 circle. There is still a full Box Gaming team up along with the 2 players of Nova Godlike.
The smokes, all the smokes coming out from Box Gaming and Nova Godlike. They want to avoid detection, but Jill has the angle. Does get 1 member down of Nova Godlike, all down to now 1 player. That's going to be Smexy OP, but there you go, gets shut down by the play zone, denies an extra point. That's pretty good. They'll be taken out in 4th position. 3 teams still remaining. Box Gaming, they're going for the push through the smokes, but they have no information because they're just going absolutely in the dark.
Yeah, and then Ernie gets a knockdown on the scout. Confirmed on the scout. Orange rock down 2, 3 players, but Gil, the player traded over from Nova Godlike, is able to get the job done. Mavi, along with Vru, gonna look to take down Box Gaming. They take the chicken dinner.